Good evening, good evening. We are resilient. We are war. The man there to your left on the screen is Michael Geary, aka 40 Mike of Hellfish Haven. I am Travis Partington of Oscar Mike Radio, and we have our special guest rocking the cool hat, Josh Dickie Boom Boom. Mikey 40 Mike and Dickie Boom Boom. I can't wait to hear how this all got started. So we are resilient. We are war. We are talking for tonight. And Mike, what do we got going on?
Well, today is World Mental Health Day, and figured we'd just keep a kind of relaxed atmosphere, keep things light, keep things energetic. Figured I would go with a fellow that kept me light and energetic during my tour overseas in Baghdad. He was my gunner, Dickie Boom Boom, and the Boom Boom is because we had a energy drink overseas that was non-FDA approved, made in Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, and it was called Boom Boom Taka Boom, and it was delicious. It was the size of a Red Bull can, and you would buy a 24 pack of them for $20. So my deal with Dickie at the beginning of the tour was I would purchase Boom Booms for the entire tour as long as whenever I needed one, he would get it for me. And so Dickie was like, yeah, no problem, Sergeant Geary. This would be great. Right in the truck, I'll just pass it to you. I'll open the gun. I'll hand it to you, down at the front. And then, he was like, all right, this will be easy. And then all of a sudden, we'd be, getting ready for mission. Dickie would be, halfway across the little base that we lived on. And all of a sudden, I'd just yell out, Dickie, boom, boom. And he'd look back at me like, are you kidding? You're 3 inches from the cooler. Like, is this happening right now? And I'd just look at him and be like, mm-hmm. It was the deal. So he'd scoot his little butt over, grab me a boom, boom, go, here you go.
Now, mind you,
if I saw him macking it.
I was 19 years old at this time. I wasn't a 36-year-old adult like I am now. I was a young, influential 19-year-old, brand new to the military, probably 5-6 months in, out of basic training. So, whatever the sergeant said to do, that's what you had to do. So that was the agreement that we worked out. And it got a little annoying, but I tell you what, I mean, what's it been? 15, 16 years since that deployment, man. That's what we always come back to. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we always joke about, and it's just it stays in my memory as just it's nostalgic in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and Jeremy says don't forget about the rippets. So the rippets were the the small version that they would give us on base. We'd be able to get those. They sell them at the dollar store now in the big can, like the monster size cans. But we would get these little like individual like kid size energy drinks, and we'd be able to pack a few of those in our pouch and take them out on mission with us. And then we, like I said, we would buy the ones from the local economy, the Boom Boom Taka Boom, and they also had Wild Tiger, which actually had nicotine in it. It was an energy drink with nicotine, and like it said on the side, not for pregnants. And it was like, all right, this is, a way to get, both your caffeine and your nicotine at once, and, just all your vices. And again, like Josh said, he had, come to us, and he was, this pure-hearted Southern boy from the Bible Belt, 19, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and us, mass holes corrupted him real quick.
Oh, man. Where are you hail from, Josh?
Yeah, so currently I'm in Baltimore. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and when me and Mike met, that's the area that I was from. I'm up here in Baltimore now since about 2015. Came up this way due to a girl, got a beautiful daughter out of the deal. So I'm pretty much hanging out in this area for the foreseeable future. But yep, Richmond, Virginia, that's where I'm from. That's where I was raised. That's that good old Bible Belt. Well, it's not really part of the Bible Belt, but, Baptist churches all over the place and stuff like that. And yeah, pretty much just like Mike said, good country boy, didn't really cuss that much. I was still a virgin when
He
we
didn't cuss at all. Like he
Didn't
would
cuss
say,
at
like he was like Ned Flanders, like cussing. Like he'd be like, "Gosh, diddly darn it," and like,
Oh,
what was the first thing you said, Josh? You're like, "This is fucking bullshit."
yeah, something like that. I just remember coming out with a cuss word and it shocked everybody. And I was like, well, this is my environment now, so I'm going to adapt and overcome. And then it was all downhill from that point. So
for sure, man. I mean, I moved here. I was, from different parts of the country myself. And, I learned that they don't call them assholes for nothing. And they're proud of it. They're proud of it. So, well, cool. So you're in Baltimore, Charm City. And what do you do now?
yeah, so now I'm working for the federal government. I got a pretty great job doing that. It's a pretty awesome career. Prior to the job that I do now, I was a police officer up in the northern Maryland area. Did a little intel work for the Department of Justice prior to that. And then, I mean, I spent probably 4 or 5 years. It's good that, you brought up the mental health portion. I think a lot of stuff that ties in with mental health is, when guys get out of the military, that struggle, that, spinning their own wheels and trying to find the next step. And I dealt with a lot of that for about 4 or 5 years after I got out of the military. But luckily, I was able to get into an intel position with the Department of Justice that rolled into a police position, and now have a pretty sweet job with the federal government right now. So it's, I'm super blessed to be where I am right now.
So let me ask you guys something, because I'm talking to another veteran, and he's tired of hearing about how veterans are broken, and it comes off to him as we are mentally weak. And he's like, and stuff I do, if you start talking about how veterans need mental health help, I'm out, because I'm just tired of hearing about it. It's not true. There's a very small percentage of veterans that have a problem. But by and large, we're all savage badasses. And, I didn't know what to say. I didn't think it was appropriate to, call him out in this group. But I think I can see where he's coming from. But also, I'm like, well, wait a minute, you might not get in trouble the minute you get out of the military, but you are going to go through some challenges for certain. You're everybody else's life moved on, and yours kind of stopped while you were in the military, and you got to catch up again. So it's not all roses and unicorns.
And the biggest thing too is like that, that savage mindset, that, alpha male, vet bro lifestyle, like, the Matt Best, the Ranger Up guys, the way that, these people, portray themselves, isn't always, what they're actually going through. A lot of these guys, do share that they struggle with mental health, issues, that they do have, things that they struggle with, readjusting to life after the military. Because you go from being in a tight knit community with somebody around you 24/7. You are never alone when you're in the service. You've always got somebody to turn to no matter where you go. And then when you're out, you do have that aloneness. You do have that isolation. You do have that, where do I turn to? And, you don't have, your day planned out for you by the first sergeant, and you don't have, what you're going to do all lined out. You got to, make your own steps. And for a lot of guys, that's where, they start to, get kind of off the straight and narrow. And a lot of people will feel good for the first couple of years when they get out. And a lot of guys, will be like, F the military, F all that stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. I just did 4 years, I'm good. And then, 5 years down the road, they're like, I kind of miss some of that stuff. And then, 10 years down the road, they're like, I want to get reinvested in that. And that's when you start seeing them join the veteran service orgs, the Legions and the VFWs and things like that to, reconnect. And it's just, you want to, let these guys know that, there's no shame in being part of that. And, admitting to, needing help for mental health. We don't need to, keep portraying us as these badass savages, as these, people that can handle anything. We, going to war and dealing with combat scenarios and dealing with the stress of military life day to day, is something that your body is not, meant to do. We endured things that you push to the physical limit, you push to the mental breaking point, and then, then some, they literally, break you down and rebuild you. And it's like, that's something that, the human body isn't, 100% prepared for. And that whether it hits you now or it hits you, down the road, just, there are resources for it. And, I just hope that, this, gentleman, lady knows that, just because it's not happening right now doesn't mean it can't happen.
For sure. Absolutely. So, hey, Mike, did you go to the IW hike?
I did not. I took your advice and I said, hey, I've got a busted ass ankle right now, and if I go try to march on it, I'm gonna fall over and go down like a sack of potatoes. And sure enough, on Sunday, I had my ankle all wrapped up, and that was just from walking around the yard with the dog and the baby.
So you're getting, is he getting smarter? Is he getting smarter? Boom, boom.
Yeah, I think so. I think the dad life has definitely grown on him. I remember Mike in his late 20s, and he definitely isn't the Mike Geary that you see right here in front of you. I had a great opportunity to come up to Mass a couple weeks ago and spent pretty much 2 days with Mike. Spent the whole day Saturday with him, and just seeing the transformation of where he was to where he is now. I never thought I would see Mike Geary as a dad, but I saw him as a dad. And I mean, he's got a great daughter. He's got a great household there. His wife loves him to death. And it's absolutely awesome to see, knowing where he was and seeing the struggles that he went through when he got out. And it's so rewarding to see that.
Because like for me, for my story, for people that don't know, like I thought I was going to be, the eternal bachelor, and then I was, an idiot at one point in my, career, and decided that I was going to get married to a dual military. And then that, blew up because the same thing that I did happened to me, where you got in a relationship with somebody that was in a relationship, and then that person got in a relationship while we were in the relationship, and just, the whole song, if it happens to you, it happens to them, or whatever it was. I think it's Genuine, or that are some early 90s, mid 90s rap song that, if she cheats on you, she'll cheat on him too, or something. It definitely, all comes around. So that happened to me. Got divorced, got separated from the service, and lost my house in a matter of 90 days. So it was an end of a career. Got medically retired. My L5S1 disc was removed, so I got medically retired from the military after 13 years. Thought I was going to do my 20. Had done 4 tours overseas. Had a house in Foxborough. Was doing good. Everything was going the right direction. But then everything with the divorce. The parents decided to sell the house from underneath me because it was still in my grandfather's name. So they used the power of attorney they had for him to sell the house while I was still in it. So losing the house, losing the career, and then losing the first spouse, it threw me for a loop. I didn't know what to do. I was heavily medicated from my injuries. And at that point, the VA had basically said, we're going to cut you cold turkey from everything. You're going to, everything that you're on from the Army that they've been prescribing you, we're not going to prescribe anymore for you. So I didn't know what to do. So I turned to the street and was like, what can I get? And I wound up taking what I thought was medication, and it wound up killing me. And so I took a pill, and it wound up being fentanyl. Luckily, I was, less than half a mile from a firehouse. A good citizen, had seen, me go down, contacted the fire department. They came, they, issued me the Narcan, revived me, went to the hospital, one of my soldiers that I was on the second and third tour with actually came up to me and said, "Hey man, what can I do to help? You've done so much for other people. You know, you need the help now. How can we help you?" And he literally, brought me to the place to go get help, to go, discuss, what I was going through and try to figure out, where everything stemmed from, like mentally, physically, what I needed in order to recover and to, get back on the right track. And so after about a year and a half, 2 years of going through all these processes, mental health, therapy, peer support coaches, uh, medication as part of the recovery, and then just making sure to cut out people in your life that were only there because of the partying and because of the fun and things like that that I thought was fun at the time that really was just destroying my life. Once you cut those people out, you were able to see the things that were important to you and the things that did matter. And being able to get my life back on track following that took about 5 years, and then COVID hit, and then it was like I was isolated because then I didn't have those other people around that I had been partying with and doing all this negative behavior. And then started doing figuring out what to do. I reached out to another one of the guys that I went overseas with and said, "What do you think I should do?" And he said, "I think you probably could qualify for a service dog." And then so he was like, "Go check out Operation Delta Dog, see if they'll accept you into their program. Let them know we'll get you to and from the appointments, for training, whatever you need. We'll support you in that effort." And I went ahead, I applied Operation Delta Dog. I started going up there doing the 2 days a week training. 1 day a week training. I met Jackie. She supported me completely through it all. And then I matched with Jose, my service dog. He was an absolute, game changer, getting me back out there, engaging again with the public. And that's when I saw that, there was still a need to have something on the nonprofit side to help vets to, that are in similar situations or that have gone through, their own struggle, to be able to find resources, to be able to find, things to get their life back on track. And that's where Hellfish Haven came about, was, having that safe, sober environment to, host people, to have the game nights, to make these events that involve not just the veteran, but the community that surrounds them, because that's what I saw was the most important thing to help me through everything, was the community and the people that I surrounded myself with, following everything, was, the friends and family that, were there to keep me up and keep me going.
Nice, dude. That's just, I don't know. It's always good hearing the story and realizing that you can rebuild your life anytime and it's certainly possible. Anything's possible when you have the good right crew behind you. So, I mean, you come up and you see him, Boom Boom, and is it really like you haven't seen him in a while, and you see him, and it's just like back to where you guys were in the Army, or does it take a while to understand what's happened in that time? Because for me, I'll see some Marine Corps buddies, and it's like we never left Yuma. We were just hanging out, and we just hang out in a different place now. So it's always interesting hearing how someone else's experience is.
Yeah, Mike and I, we have this sort of relationship just because he was the person that, like, he was my mentor when I was in the military. Like, he taught me everything that I learned about leadership, and he taught me how to be a soldier. He taught me how to live in a combat environment. He taught me how to thrive and be a good troop, and then in part becoming a good leader. Like, he taught me all that. So him and I, we have a special relationship. But yeah, as we've gotten older and as the military has sort of gotten more so behind us, and it's really grown more into a personal relationship. Yeah, it's just, we could go weeks, we could go months without talking to each other. I'll call him, he'll call me. we'll get together. The last time I had the opportunity to see with Mike was before COVID. Like I hadn't been up to Massachusetts before COVID. Mike was the guy that married me. He was there. He was going to be one of my groomsmen. Ended up marrying me,
So
my ex-wife.
I didn't actually marry him. I was the person that did the ceremony.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for
I
that.
do love you, Josh, but just
Right.
not my flavor.
But yeah, for sure. Obviously, yeah. But yeah, we definitely have that sort of thing where, I mean, we went 5 years, and as soon as I saw him, I mean, we hugged each other, and it was like we picked up where we left off. I was 60 pounds lighter. He was a little bit older. You know, he had a daughter that he didn't have the last time I saw him. And FaceTime really helps too. Like being able to FaceTime over the last 5 years, that's certainly helped. But yeah, it was absolutely like nothing. It was like we had just seen each other the other day. And I think we're always going to have that camaraderie. We're always going to be going through phases in life together. And we're always going to be able to sharpen each other's iron, so to speak. So it's an awesome relationship that we have. And yeah, it's definitely something that I'm thankful for.
Cool. So, my event went real good. Well, oh my God.
Yes.
My event went real well this weekend. Wow. No complaints.
Hold on. I think I still have the overlay. Standby one.
Affirm.
So they're the 4th annual benefit.
Yeah, it went real well. We got we're starting to partner with an org out of Boston called Death Purpose Freedom. This guy, Diego Cardona, takes people men primarily to outdoor adventures and bonding experiences. So, guys can be around guys. And then Amber, the founder, her mother, Erin, got up there and kind of told like the episode 0 story of the family and everything. And it was, very powerful how, the dog started helping out, Erin's father and Amber's father, excuse me. Wow. So, it went real well, and we're trying to get things going for next year already. And, I think it's a really good time if you have a nonprofit that serves veterans and you're showing that you're being, active in the community. I think people are still wanting to help, and it's very important.
And that's the website there. It's, 2 lives at once. And are you guys part of the greater Boston Veterans Collaborative?
We're getting ready to join that. So that's our next thing. I was going to ask, how's the veterans scene down in Baltimore, man? What's it like for veterans in Baltimore?
I'll tell you this. My experience with the VA in Baltimore has been absolutely atrocious. It takes effort upon effort to try to get assistance, and the state provides a little bit. One of the things that I always thought was really good about being up in Mass, because I mean, like I said earlier, I'm from Richmond. I did live up in Mass for a couple years. Now I'm in Baltimore. But the outreach and the assistance that veterans get up in Massachusetts is like second to none. Virginia was decent, but Baltimore, I mean, it's absolutely atrocious. And I go in there now for work and for like care and stuff like that. And it's just, nobody seems to enjoy their job. And it's a terrible scene down here. And unfortunately, that's just how it is here. Yeah, that's been my experience. There could be folks that live around here that have had great experiences, but unfortunately, I just haven't had a really good experience. And the attitude and the don't really care sort of mindset for the people that are in the VA healthcare system here in Baltimore, I mean, it's atrocious.
Now, did you have any experience with the Virginia VA at all while you were down that area?
I did a little bit when I initially started going through mental health treatment down there. When we got home, I went through them. They were really good. And they They were very responsive. I feel like the biggest thing about Maryland is I feel like there's an unofficial like line that you have to pass before they really start taking veterans seriously. And I know that sounds weird, but like, you know, just going to a vet center or getting into just a mental health group or something like that when I was down in Virginia, it was relatively easy. It was relatively easy to do. People were energetic, the groups were good. And I didn't really see that until farther down the road when, you know, more stresses started to build up in my life and I started to really truly seek a little bit more mental health, just, you know, due to being a dad, due to a lot more responsibilities, and that played with my stress level, and just, you know, some of the stuff from 2 deployments overseas, it screwed with my ability to handle that sort of stress. So it wasn't until really then that it seemed like, okay, the worse you are, the more responsive, I guess, they are to you. But if you're like middle of the road, you're kind of regretting, not, I don't want to say regretting, but if you're like kind of teetering on getting help, or if you're still in that phase in life where you don't want to look weak, so you don't want to fully divulge everything, then it doesn't really seem like the VA here in Baltimore really gives any effort. So I don't know if that's a knock against the VA.
What about like, you know, the American Legion, VFWs, other things like that, other veterans groups down there?
They're definitely bigger down in Virginia. I remember having, like, as soon as I got home from my first deployment, like going and signing up for the Legion. I mean, they're around. There are American Legion posts, VFW posts around here, but they're not nearly as popular, and folks don't really use them that much. Now, I could be saying that biased because I don't really have much affiliation with the Legion here. Just I'm one of those guys that I would rather, you know, stay in touch with the guys that I deployed with and stuff like that. So I could be giving you a little bit slanted review of that in the area. But I mean, it's, you know, I know a lot of vets in the area. None of them ever really talk about the Legion or anything like that. So
in DC, there's an awesome American Legion. If you get the chance in DC, there's a Legion post there. We went to, after running the Army 10 miler. You walk a couple miles away from the Pentagon, and it's right there. And it was just such a good group of guys that just invited us in and welcomed us. You know, as a bunch of guys from, you know, New England being down there for, you know, an Army 10 miler. I think it was 2011 or 2011 that I went down there and did that. And like, I just remember finishing the 10 miles and like the hills and like everything that it is down there. You go up a ramp, you go around, and like, it's beautiful to see like the city, but like, it is a heck of a race. And then I just remember I finished and I'm sitting down, and like they had like a thing of powdered donuts, and I'm just mowing them down afterwards. I'm like, I don't know if this is the best thing to eat right after doing 10 miles, but like, it just felt good.
yeah, I mean, the FOP lodges are like that here in Maryland. Like, you know, when I was a police officer, I mean, the FOP lodges were just like that. But yeah, I'm not really seeing that in the Legion or the VFWs around here. But I'm glad you had that good experience. I mean, I'm down in DC pretty much for the foreseeable future, pretty much 5 days a week now, just due to work. So if I get the opportunity to hop in there and check out what the Legion game is like down there, I'm definitely going to.
And I know, too, wasn't your dad really involved in the Legion in Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my dad volunteered there all the time. I mean, he was there up until the day he couldn't because he got too sick. And, but I mean, he was volunteering there. He was an active participant there. He was the one that helped me get my membership expedited. And, you know, they welcomed me in, and it was very interesting being 20 years old, walking in and seeing a bunch of the Vietnam guys and stuff like that. There weren't too many guys my age at that time. I mean, we're talking 2008. But yeah, they welcomed me in, and it was, you know, other than the obvious age difference, like there was really not that much difference between, you know, the cordiality and just talking and being able to relate to guys. It was awesome. But yeah, the The Legion game down in Virginia is totally awesome, and I know, and I have experience there, and I can tell you that it's pretty great.
All right, Mike, I gotta go on an assignment. Mission top secret, destination unknown. But it's been good to see you, Mr. Boom Boom, and Mr. 40 Mike. And I think the bonds of friendship and brotherhood never truly go away. And I think it's really cool to see tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
You got I think show coming up about 8.
Yeah, my show coming up at 8 is talking to Kristen Leone. She's an active duty Navy, like 06 medical type. So, I actually got to listen and understand why I should go to the doctor and all that good stuff. So it'll be interesting.
Gotcha. We will share that link. And Josh, if you don't mind, I'm going to keep you on for a minute or two.
That works, bud.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you. Josh, good seeing you.
All right. All right, let's switch this. Make it look all nice and pretty again with just the two of us now. We don't need to be so zoomed in on us anymore. There we go. Now we're not just looking at two giant faces.
Yeah, Elena just called me. She was FaceTiming me. I told her I had to call her back. So if it looked like I was talking randomly to my phone or something like that, yeah. She finished up karate.
Well, it's funny you say that because, like, ever since, we were down, you came up and, we're hanging out anytime, like, this afternoon when your picture was up for the ad, the baby was like, Josh? So she gets a big kick out of, saying your name and being able to, chat and have you be a part of everything now.
Yeah, man. I mean, she's adorable. She was awesome. I absolutely loved hanging out with her when we got to hang out at your place on Friday. It was an absolute blast.
And I believe I've got a large jacket here that, feels kind of nice to wear,
Oh, it's a comfy jacket, and it's really the only sort of mild fall weather jacket that I have. So if you're not going to put it in the mail anytime soon, just let me know, and I'll head to the store and grab another one. But
hold on a second. I just want to model it for the folks at home.
I got this habit where I sort of leave stuff when I make travel, like when I travel places. So sure enough, it's a nice jacket, man. Looks good on you.
I mean, it does. I even I got a special book in the pocket for you for when I send it down too.
That's right. It's funny. I went to the mall the day after I got home with a girl that I'm seeing, and I went into North Face because I like that jacket so much. I was like, all right, well, I can just chalk it up to a loss, give that jacket to Mike, and I'll just grab another one. But I couldn't find one that was similar to that, man. They all just had terrible. It was just, I just didn't like the selection that they had. So, but yeah, it's a great jacket, dude.
It's not too bad. I think if it had been like an XL versus the 2, I probably would have been like, yeah, it's found a new home, but it's just a little bit like too,
Yeah.
I don't feel it out enough.
Well, I need another.
You're a taller man than I am.
Yeah, and I need another size too, because I've shrunk down, tremendously over the last 7 months. So. I was going to go out and go jacket shopping anyway. It ended up, we were at the mall, and I ended up buying a couple new pairs of pants that were tighter in the waist and a couple smaller hoodies because all the clothes that I have, dude, the last time I was on the show, I was looking at the thumbnail before we went live, and I was like, holy smokes, man. Like, dang, that's what 60 pounds looks like. Like, that's insane.
I think I can hide the chat. Give me a second. And then, nope, that's not going to do it. There it is. Nope.
Yeah, it was there for a minute. Yep, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all that extra.
I mean, just right there. And you're like, you see it, it's gone. You're not harvesting, some extra acorns for the winter.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's all, dude. The extra energy that I have too, and like the fact that I can wear grunt style comfortably. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have fit into grunt style before, and I was like ashamed to wear anything like that because of my size. But like now that I fit into large and XL, I can comfortably wear that stuff. So drop down and do a 34 waist this weekend. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Dang.
Yeah, bro. It's pretty sweet.
That's the worst part for me is like I get a pair of pants and it's great, and then like if I flux like even like 3-4 pounds like up or down, they're too tight, they suck, or they get too loose, and because I got no ass, they're just like boom, fall down, boom, fall down.
And I want to kind of stay on that because you opened the show talking about mental health and just developing an active, consistent exercise plan that I have since February, bro. It has helped my mental health tremendously, like tremendously. I'm talking physiologically, mentally, spiritually, every single aspect you can think of. And when I was in the military, I loved running. I absolutely loved running, and I forgot what that felt like. And then, I remember when I first started the routine, getting out there, walking for a minute, and then running for a minute and doing that. Now I'm up to running 4 miles every other day. And it's like, man, this stuff, I absolutely love it. I forgot how much I loved it. And it's so beneficial for your mental health to be able to do that. I encourage everybody that I talk to, especially the guys that I know that deployed that are struggling. First thing that I ask them, hey, how's your workout routine? Motion is lotion. Get out there, try to do as best that you can to keep your body active, because if you're able to keep your body active, then it's going to give your brain the opportunity to rest a little bit more when you're not exercising, and that will ultimately help stress and all that stuff. So,
and like, have you joined anything like you got like Team Red, White, and Blue? They do like events all the time, like where like you can do like 5Ks, or like they'll do like um, you know, cycling events. They'll do like all sorts of different things like that, and it's veterans just getting together and doing physical activities.
I haven't. I haven't joined any groups myself. That's an area that I'm lacking in. I thought about organizing a 5K. I got a couple buddies that are restaurant owners in the area, and I've thought about. I've sent them a couple messages. I sent them a couple of them a message last week, asking, hey, if I did some background research and stuff like that, would you be cool hosting a 5K? We use the restaurant website to sort of promote it, try to get some people out there, and just have a 5K, and then we can incorporate the kids and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't really gotten too involved with any of the groups around here. I think a big part of that is because up until about 6 months ago, I never really considered Maryland home. It's probably a month or two after moving up here, I realized the difference. Like I just didn't like it. And that sort of stigma stayed into my head. So I lived over the last, I've been here since 2015. So going on 9 years. And the only thing that I've done to sort of anchor myself down is buy a house. But that sort of changed about 6 months ago. Like I'm starting to enjoy Maryland a little bit more. It's starting to grow on me just a little bit. And I'm more open to sort of planning routes, developing friendships, and really getting established here. Because my goal up until about 6 months ago was, as soon as Atlanta can start flying independently, I'm getting out of the state. I was either going to go back to Virginia, or I was going to go down to Florida, or somewhere where it's warm or something like that. I love to come up to Mass, man, but I hate the cold weather. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start looking around more often, and seeing if there's any sort of groups that I can get involved with, because I know I'm becoming more successful, and I want to be able to impart that on other people too. Before I was the young guy. I'm 36 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that young buck anymore. There are a lot younger guys that are getting out of the military, that are going through the struggles that we went through. And, it's time to start sort of giving back, sort of like you have with Hellfish Haven. You were probably, 3-4 years ahead mentally in that aspect. And, I'm starting to get into that boat also.
Yeah. And I just posted a bunch of things in the chat. Whether it's Team Red, White, and Blue, Wounded Warrior Project has a great warrior fitness program. They actually, if you sign up for it, you can go on like a weekend retreat where like you'll go out and like they'll actually provide you with like a TRX, like the self weight system where like you use your body weight to do the exercises, like a roller, like the foam roller, stretchy bands, like so you can do all these different exercises at your home that you're able to do within the limitations of the injuries you sustained in the service. And that's a really great program that they have. It also teaches you healthy eating, how to like they give you like these little measuring cups of like this is the fats per day, this is the meats, this is your fruits, this is how much of each you're supposed to have, and they actually will go over like how to properly shop and like do that for like one person, because a lot of times people have trouble cooking just for themselves because people may be just cooking for a family or cooking for you and a significant other, and then all of a sudden now you're cooking for yourself, and it's like, how do you do this? And like they really talk about meal prep being an important thing to help out. Catch a Lift Foundation, Gold Star Mother, that helps veterans get gym memberships throughout the country. They've got a lot of connections there. I want to say they're from either Jersey or Delaware area. What else do we got? The Whole Health Approach by the VA. The VA's got a ton of like information on that. They've got the Project Move, which gets veterans from like the couch to just up and getting around. Guys that are if they're overweight, not able to do anything, got a physical disability with the knees, with their arms, with basically you're stuck in whatever situation. The Move will be able to help you through that. Mission Continues. They've got a couple of different programs through them. They do great volunteerism. Enduring Warrior, it's another good one. And We Are Project Hero. Just these different physical programs that like you said, the physical helps the mental. The mental, helps you get back out there to the physical. Like goes back and forth. Like when you feel better about yourself, you're willing to go back out there and do more. When you do more, you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, it's a positive cycle, man. And I'm going through it right now. And yeah, these resources are out here. I want to say I got kind of familiar with Team Rubicon. I know there's a lot of veteran presence in there. And,
they are awesome. I've done a couple missions with them, especially when COVID hit. First, they were doing like independent missions. Like, so I did like a thing where I was going around to the different like homeless areas in Cambridge, and I was just packing a backpack full of like Nutri-Grain bars, boxes of cereal, things like that, because during the day, there wasn't people being out and about. So people that were homeless weren't able to go to, the places and get food and get things. So they had to, these meal trucks would come around to the places where the homeless people lived only twice a day. So for the rest of the day, it's like they would be going hungry and there was nothing for them to do or eat because all these places are closed. So, I just throw some stuff in a backpack and I just go out and, drop off, here's, some saltines, here's, whatever we can go that, you don't have to cook. You can just, eat where you are. And then wound up doing the food deliveries during COVID, where we had like a 15-pack van, and me and a Marine Corps vet would drive around this 15-passenger van with like 30 to 40 different homes to hit. And like we did the Chelsea, Mass was one of like the first like places that was hit real hard. And like a lot of these homes were like 3-4 generations of people living in the same home. So like they were all stuck in like, the risk to the family. So we would drop off, food, 2 boxes, every couple of days just to be able to provide, to these families to make sure that they could, sustain, the ability to maintain, substance. So they're an awesome organization. If you ever get the chance to deploy with them or to take any of their courses, like they got like a chainsaw operator course and like good stuff like that. And they'll actually teach you like a leadership course too, if like you want to become like a leader on their like deployments that they do. And I know obviously right now with the hurricane relief, they are tasked up the backside.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I do know that they deploy a lot for like natural disasters and tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, and stuff. So I'm sure they're sending a big team down to Florida right now, especially. I mean, what you had Helene 2 weeks ago, and now Milton. Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna have a big presence down there.
Yeah, and like I said, Rubicon, is a great organization, to be a part of, and like I said, it's funny like how they send out like their shirt is like a gray shirt with like a big white spot where you like hand Sharpie like write your name on it, so that way you know who you are. And then like this here, Veterans Upward Bound, it's a program that I was part of when I was living at the homeless shelter. Was able to get me like back into the mindset of going back to school, and like they had like 4 like mini classes where it was like an English class, a math class, things like that to get me back in the mindset of going to school. Because like I think I had 10 years between like when I graduated, with my associate's degree to when I went back to college for the first time. And it was like a lot had changed. And like you go 10-year break in schooling, and it's like even taking military courses, obviously, everything's open book and, not that hard. So then all of a sudden you're going back to collegiate, studies, and it was tough. So like Upward Bound was a great program that will do that and, helps people with their education goals and will help you, go different places. And they actually, for veterans that don't have like their high school diploma, they'll help them get their GED, things like that, because, older veterans that, went to go serve instead of, completing school, never got the chance to do that. So that's one of the things that they provide as well is, the education opportunities for the older veterans.
Yeah, I mean, just the radical shift from going, from the military lifestyle into the sitting in a classroom in a college lifestyle can be daunting and very overwhelming. So to be able to have that sort of resource, I mean, that's huge, man. I remember how crazy it was for me. And yeah, I'm sure it's like that for a lot of people. So
And
to be able to have that resource.
The guy that runs it up here, Nick at Suffolk University, he was an MP as well. So like we were able to make friends with him. And like one of the things he did is he also pushed for like outreach events for Veterans Upward Bound, where like not just classroom oriented stuff, where like we'd go out to the Museum of Science, we'd go out to these different educational landmarks throughout Boston to be able to actually hands-on learning and hands-on experiencing of things, whether it's the Museum of Science, whether it's the aquarium, different things that like just show that education is not just in a college classroom. Education can be wherever you are and like whatever you engulf yourself in. Like you don't have to just be a college student. And like that's the big thing. Like I would take out too is saying where I am now. Like I don't have a bachelor's degree. I have an associate's degree, and I'm hard charging. Working with Haven, trying to get things done. And like you don't need to worry about like getting the bachelor's degree to define you. Like if you go out there and you learn and you apprentice and you get your skill, on the job training is everything. Like even what we did in the military, we learned from doing.
Yeah, and I totally advocate for people to turn their entire environment into a classroom. Like for me, anytime I get in my vehicle, like I don't ever listen to music anymore. I haven't listened to music in my vehicle in probably 5 to 7 years. Like maybe, unless my daughter's in the car or I'm driving around with a chick or something like that. Yeah, I'll put on some music or something. But when it's just me, I consider it a learning pod, dude. I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm listening to deep intellectual podcasts, and I'm constantly learning and deepening my knowledge and stuff like that. And I encourage everyone to do that. Absolutely, there's the institutional education side of things, but then there's just as you mature, the continual learning aspect that we all have to take accountability of. And, if you're sitting around for 5-6 hours a day playing Xbox or something like that, maybe turn your vehicle into a learning pod and start listening to those deep podcasts and really enriching your own knowledge. And it'd be crazy to see the things that you're capable of and the knowledge that you'll build. The podcast, the channel that I was a part of, and learning all about investments and all that stuff, that's all self-taught, man. The strict budget that I have, helping people with credit like I've been able to do, challenging credit bureaus and all that stuff for clients that I have over the years. It's all due to turning my vehicle into a learning pod pretty much. And I encourage everybody to do that.
And then just one last peer support organization item out there that I want to share is the shirt that I'm wearing tonight is Warrior Gamer Foundation. If you go on the link I just put up, they've got a thing there where if you're having trouble, you can just jump on the Discord, throw a little message up saying, I need to talk to somebody. Within, an hour, you're going to get a message back from another veteran there to peer support, help you out, whatever you're going through. If it's a immediate crisis, obviously, 988, press 1, behavioral health lines, other things like that. But this is it's nice to have, a warm line like that where you can reach another veteran, in a time, like that. And, people that are doing similar things that you are.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
But Josh, thank you for joining. Like I said, we got Oscar Mike Radio coming up next at 8 here on, the Hellfish Haven W.A.R channels and Oscar Mike Radio, Facebook, X, TikTok, basically every social media that's out there, Spotify. Travis is just killing it everywhere he goes. And if you get the chance to jump on and listen to him next, I usually do it on YouTube. Jump in the comments and say hello. But thanks for joining us. And mental health is just such an important thing to keep on. And like you said earlier, the mental gets the physical gets the mental, and it just keeps coming around. So guys, girls out there, if you guys need anything, feel free to send a DM. Hellfish Haven, if you want to talk more to Josh, send me a message. I'll send you his number. Men or ladies, whichever you like. I've got some exotic pictures of him as well.
Right. Yeah, man, dude, it's been an absolute blast hanging out. Anytime you want me to come back, just give me a holler, dude. Absolutely love the podcast. Love what you guys are doing, and yeah, it's super important. So you got my full support, man. If you need anything, just let me know.
Absolutely. Now.